The year is 1720. The air is sweet with jasmine, but beneath it, the metallic tang of fear. You are not walking here by choice. The smooth stone floors swallow the sound of your silk slippers as you follow the old eunuch, his candle casting shadows that stretch like skeletal fingers along walls painted in imperial yellow. Your heart thrums like a war drum in your chest. You are only 15, and tonight you will step into a chamber where love is a mask, and every breath you take will be regulated by rules older than the emperor himself. The eunuch pauses, turns to you. His eyes are sharp but tired, the kind of eyes that have seen too much, buried too many secrets. What I am about to tell you, he whispers, will decide whether you live or vanish without a trace. The first rule is deceptively simple. Never turn your back on the Son of Heaven. Even as you undress, even as you move about the chamber, you must always face him. The women who have survived longest here glide sideways like dancers, every motion rehearsed, every pivot a choreography of fear. Why? Because the emperor's mind is steeped in paranoia. He knows that death can hide in the delicate hands of a beautiful woman, a poisoned fingernail, a needle dipped in venom, a blade thin enough to vanish in silk folds. Your back for even a moment is vulnerability, and vulnerability is forbidden. You learn this lesson not from the eunuch's words, but from watching Min, a concubine who has survived 3 long years. She moves like water, never abrupt, never careless. When she reaches for something behind her, she does it in an arc so graceful it seems divine, her eyes never leaving the emperor's. When she removes her robes, each layer falls as if on command, her body locked in an eternal bow of submission. She has mastered survival, but survival here is not life. It is a performance so perfect it erases too. He person beneath it. And this is only the first chain. In this place, the rules will not simply control your body. They will rewrite your mind. They will hollow you from the inside until even your thoughts are spoken in the emperor's language. But you are not ready to hear all of them. Not yet. Tonight, you take the first step through a door you were never meant to open. And once you cross it, you will never truly be free again. The eunuch's candle trembles as he leans closer. Here, you are not you. His voice is so soft you're not sure if you hear it with your ears or with something deeper. From now on, you do not speak unless spoken to, and when you do, you will not say, I. You are this unworthy slave, this lowly concubine, nothing more. It sounds like ritual etiquette, but it is a knife aimed at the mind. From the moment you step inside the emperor's chamber, your name, your voice, your identity are stripped away. He does not make love to people. He uses vessels, objects, and language. The one thing that once belonged to you becomes the chain that binds your very thoughts. Within months, the transformation begins. Even when you are alone, the word I feels foreign, dangerous. You start thinking of yourself in the third person without realizing it, as if the emperor's grammar has rewired your brain. You become a shadow of a woman, a servant, not only to his desires but to the architecture of submission he commands. There is no rebellion in your thoughts because your thoughts are no longer yours. Then comes the third rule, a rule that feels like it's about respect but hides a darker truth. Never look directly into the emperor's eyes during intimacy. Your gaze must rest just below his chin. Why? Because eye contact is dangerous. Eye contact is intimacy, and intimacy is a crack in the wall of power. If he sees the fear in your eyes, the longing, the intelligence, he might hesitate. And if you see into his eyes, you might realize the Son of Heaven is only a man. Break this rule more than once, and the punishment is not death, it is worse. You will be sent to live among the eunuchs, stripped of all beauty, all hope, all future. You will exist as a walking warning to every other concubine that to meet the emperor's gaze is to claim equality, and equality here is treason. The eunuch's voice drops lower, almost a hiss. When the emperor touches you, you will not make a sound unless he commands it. You think it means modesty, decorum, but you are wrong. It is about domination. Your pain, your pleasure, your every breath must bend to his will. If you gasp without permission, you have declared something dangerous, that your body belongs to you, and in this palace, your body is not yours. Women learn quickly to smother their instincts. They bite their tongues until blood fills their mouths. They hold their breath until their vision narrows to black. They become experts in dissociation, floating outside themselves while their bodies remain obedient, unmoving, silent. It is not intimacy. It is a performance, one where the emperor writes every line, cues every sound, and decides when the curtain falls. Some nights he tests the silence not with tenderness but with cruelty, a sharp pinch, a sudden twist of flesh. He watches for a flinch, for the smallest gasp he did not summon. Breaking the silence means breaking the illusion that he owns you entirely, and that illusion is everything to him. There are women who fail, their voices crack, they cry out, they break, but the palace physicians have no name for what happens to them next, a condition where no sound escapes their lips again, even when alone. These women wander the harem like ghosts, their voices stolen by a rule designed to make them disappear from themselves. The eunuch unrolls a small bamboo scroll, his fingers tracing the characters like a priest reading a curse. When the emperor comes to you, it will be at a fixed time. You will be ready. You will already be bathed, perfumed, and waiting without a word, without delay. It is not romance, it is scheduling. Every visit is decided by the head eunuch and recorded in the palace ledger like a tax payment. Some women are summoned once a month, others once in a lifetime. The unpredictability is its own cruelty, weeks of anxious preparation for a knock that may never come. When the emperor arrives, the ritual begins. You are stripped, not by his hands, but by servants, your robes folded in perfect symmetry, as if your body were a ceremonial object. You are carried to him, literally lifted, because to walk toward the Son of Heaven is presumptuous. You are placed before him like an offering. Then comes the sixth rule. When it ends, you do not linger. There is no holding, no whispers in the dark. As soon as his desire is spent, you rise, bow 3 times, and leave. The warmth of his skin is still on yours, but the cold is already seeping back in. The eunuchs escort you out as if sealing a vault. The door shuts. The silence is absolute. Some women cry in that silence. Others sit frozen for hours, unable to move, the ritual replaying in their minds. The emperor does not remember their faces the next morning, but they remember his in every detail, because forgetting is impossible when you have been reduced to a moment on someone else's calendar. The eunuch's voice hardens as he reaches the final line of the scroll. When your time in the palace ends, you do not leave without the emperor's permission. It sounds harmless, almost polite, but the meaning is darker than the night beyond the palace walls. The truth is, very few women ever leave. They are not free to marry. They are not free to return home. For most, the end comes not in the world outside, but in a quiet, locked chamber deep within the palace. Some women simply disappear, their absence never spoken of. The servants whisper that they are taken to the cold houses, small, windowless rooms where the unwanted are kept until they wither away. No visitors, no voices, no name. Others are poisoned under the guise of mercy. It is said the emperor prefers this, a clean ending without the risk of a concubine's memories escaping into the world. And there is a final cruelty. Upon death, your name may be erased from the records entirely, as if you never existed. No burial with honor, no mourners, only ashes scattered quietly with the same indifference that once scheduled your nights. The seventh rule is not just about control over your life, it is about owning your ending. In the Forbidden City, you belong to the Emperor from the moment you step inside until the moment your breath stops, and sometimes even after that, when history forgets you exactly as he intended. The rules did not fade with time. They outlived emperors. They outlived dynasties. For 500 years, the same rituals repeated. New women arriving with painted smiles, unaware they were stepping into a place where the walls themselves remembered every sigh, every whisper, every silenced cry. In the Ming Dynasty, a concubine named Lady Wan was caught smiling at a palace guard. The next morning, she was gone. No trial, no explanation, just gone. In the Qing Dynasty, a favored concubine of Emperor Qianlong tried to flee the palace disguised as a servant. She was captured at the outer gate, her hair cut off as punishment, a mark of disgrace that followed her until her death in the cold houses. The palace corridors became a silent museum of these disappearances. Eunuchs knew which courtyards to avoid at night, where the air felt thick, as if layered with the breath of those who had been locked away. Even in daylight, the place felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by memory. The women learned to smile through their fear, to bow lower than necessary, to hide their thoughts so deeply that even they forgot them. Because in the Forbidden City, survival meant becoming invisible without vanishing completely. At first, the palace is a prison made of stone. You can see the walls, you can feel the locks. But after enough years, something worse happens. The prison moves inside you. The courtyards you once walked with cautious hope begin to feel smaller. The sunlight that once warmed you now seems too bright, almost offensive. You forget the streets of your childhood, the sound of your mother's voice, the smell of the outside air. Some women began speaking to the carved dragons on the walls, whispering secrets they couldn't share with another living soul. Others paced their chambers until they wore grooves into the wooden floor, as if they were trying to walk their way out of their own thoughts. A few went silent completely, their eyes dull and unblinking, as though their minds had folded inward to a place the emperor could never touch, but where they themselves could never escape. And the cruelest part, the palace preferred them this way. A broken mind never rebelled. A woman who could no longer imagine freedom was easier to control than one who feared the whip. In the Forbidden City, obedience was not the highest goal. Erasing the will to live was. When the emperor dies, the palace shifts. Eunuchs whisper, guards tighten their watch, and rumors sweep through the cold halls. Now you can go home. Some concubines dare to hope. They pack the few treasures they've kept, a comb, a hairpin, a silk scarf scented faintly of home. They dream of streets outside the palace walls, of air that isn't heavy with incense and fear. But the truth is far colder. Tradition says that favored consorts follow the emperor in death, some by poison, others entombed alive beside him. Those less favored are sent to the cold palaces, abandoned halls deep inside the Forbidden City, where they live out the rest of their days unseen, forgotten. A few are released into the outside world, only to discover they no longer belong there. The city feels too loud, the sky too wide, the people too strange. The walls have been inside them too long. They carry the palace with them wherever they go. In the end, the Forbidden City does not end when you leave it. It lives on in your silence, in the way you measure your words, in the way you never quite stop glancing over your shoulder. You may escape the emperor, but you never escape the palace.